What up, Wizards? It's Dev and Digby and the Chicken. We are all here, and we're all from Mtg, and we all, every one of us, like it a Magic the Gathering. Now, we got a fun one, I guess, for you today. I've mostly been keeping my head down all week, just holding my breath till Monday morning, see what they're doing and all that. But I feel like it's important to come to you on this, the eve of the ban day, to talk about kind of how we feel, have a little chat-ski. Because we got a lot to talk about, and it is the 11th hour. As I record this, there's only about 36 hours left until they make this dang thing actually happen, and we know what's banned in Standard for real. Because as it turns out, we have no idea what's getting banned. Yeah, that's right. Remember that whole leakaroo that we covered earlier on this week? That thing got more views than any video on the channel in the last, 2 years. Hey, thanks, guys. Now, it turns out that whole thing, a big fat phony, just a big old shammy scam. So, and it turns out that's absolutely confirmed. Wizards came out the next day and was like, yeah, this isn't real. That's not us. And then the guy that made the Reddit post came out and was like, yeah, it's not real. It was me. I'm sorry. It was me. I'm just a phony, which puts us all the way back at square one in terms of what we think is actually going to get banned. And I've already done a video about the percentage chances that this or that card is going to get banned and blah, and it's a fun one. Go check it out. So we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about what cards I don't think are going to get banned. We talked a lot about that in that video too. So today I figure I had one more chance to actually come out and concretely, for real, tell you what I think is for sure gonna get banned, what my money is actually on. Not that I'm betting on what gets banned in Magic. That would be a stupid bet. Don't do that. But anyway, like I said, that leaves us with a ton of things to talk about, but I should probably address the elephant in the room first. This Kirby shirt, I saw it at Walmart and I had to have it, but I also forgot that since the last time I bought a shirt, I lost a buttload of weight, so it's my old size, which means that it's enormous. The shirt is freaking huge. If I could take in the sleeves about that much, that's the proper sleeve, and then if I could take in the actual shirt about yay much, yeah, somewhere in there, that's my size. That's the size of me right now. But if I let go of these things, then suddenly I am 700 pounds. But I don't regret it, the choice. I had to have this shirt. This is a good shirt. Now, the way I see it, and this is not a cop-out, I'm setting a thing up here. There's two branching paths we could go down here. There are two ways the timeline could diverge, and one of those ways is that we get a ban announcement that is remarkably similar to the fake one that we got, where they banned 8 cards, possibly even more. I mean, there's some people, you could even say myself, but be included perhaps, that want to see Shieldred and Thalia banned, and they weren't even part of the fake announcement, But I don't know that that's what they're going to do. I think that after the fake ban and the massively positive reception to it, I think that Wizards is actually under a ridiculous amount of pressure to ban a bunch of cards, But I'm still not convinced they're going to do that. But that is one way they could go. They could ban 6 to 10 cards tomorrow, and that would actually be kind of sick. Honestly, I would kind of be sort of very okay with that. More than okay. Is okay the right word? I would be ecstatic. let's be honest with our feelings here. I would be ecstatic if Wizards chose to do that, but I don't think that is the way the timeline will diverge. I think instead we'll go down this path. And that path is one where we ban, I don't know why I'm talking that way, sorry. Yeah, it's upsetting the chicken. I apologize, baby. That path is one where we ban 3 cards. Now, 2 of these I'm really very confident in. And then the third one I'm not as confident in at all. I just really kind of hope they ban it for balancing purposes. And if you were going to ban a card for balancing purposes, this would be the card you'd ban. But anyway, I want to start with the card I'm actually most supremely confident about, and I've made no mystery about it either. I have brought up countless times the last couple of weeks that I am sure, dead sure, that they will guaranteed ban Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and I'm sticking to my guns here. I have received kind of a surprising amount of backlash. I don't even know if that's the right word for it. I've received a surprising amount of polite disagreement in the comments section from people who don't think they're going to ban this. People are like, I don't know about Fable, man. I can't see them doing it. And it's like, what are you? How is that possible? I respect you as a person. I just don't see how you could live this format and not think they're going to ban this card. I think it's, again, near a guarantee on whatever you want to put it on that they are going to ban this card, and it's going to be the first card they talk about in the announcement. I'm going to call that. And I could go on. I could fill 5 minutes and just pad the video out with how broken this card is. But again, I've already done that a couple of times in the last week or so. And when I do the video covering the actual ban announcement, I will also not go on for 5 minutes about how broken this card is. It's all been done at this point, and that's why the card needs to be banned. Honestly, it's like a year and a half of this exact conversation. Hey, did you know that Fable, the Mirror Breaker, is good? You know, it's a good, probably the best red 3-drop in standard. And that evolved into, hey, this is probably the best 3-drop in standard. And that evolved into, hey, this is the best card in standard, which eventually evolved into, this is the most annoying card in standard. Kill it. So again, I don't know what you want me to wager here, but I'll put it on. I'll put it right there on the house, baby. This card is getting banned on Monday, and that's kind of all there is to it. But I've got a second card. I've got 3, in case you remember, that I want to talk about here. And the second card I've also made, in this case, an entire video about how this is the thing that I would ban given the choice in standard. And it's not... Again, it's not Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which I would ban given the chance. But if I had the chance to ban any one card in standard to affect the most decks possible in one fell swoop, it would actually be Reckoner Bankbuster. And again, sticking to my guns here, I think this definitely gets banned. This is the other card that I'm most confident about. Now, Fable, I put it 100%. This card, I put around 90%. So I'm not going to personally guarantee that it gets banned, but I am pretty confident they're going to take this thing out. And I kind of like that it's going to affect a bunch of decks when they do get rid of it. I mean, if they cut this, it ends up pretty heavily affecting Rakdos, obviously, Grixis too, but Mono White Control, and 5 other tier 2 decks that are currently leaning pretty heavily on the card. So I can't say that I want to see this go wholeheartedly, but I can admit that it might have to. Hey, did you notice that this part of the video has a slightly different light level and camera angle than the rest of the video? Yeah, that's because I think I forgot to record a bridge between the second and third cards earlier. I started editing the video and I got super confused looking for this part and I couldn't find it, so I had to come in here and record it in the first place, I guess. So yeah, that leaves the question though, after so much suspense, what is that third card? The one that I'm a little less confident about, and yet I'm still going to make a part of this video. Well, it's the Wandering Emperor. Now, that might be a little surprising to hear, given the source at least. You probably expected me to say Invoke Despair or something. But again, this is a video about what I think in reality will actually get banned, right? And not what I want to get banned. Even though I want the Wandering Emperor to get banned, don't get me wrong, I just think that it's more likely to get banned than a card like Invoke, right? With Invoke, I would love for it to get banned, but I could also see Wizards giving us a whole hullabaloo about well, we banned Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which means that you can't ramp into and fix your mana for a turn 4 Invoke Despair, making it inherently a more fair card, so we didn't ban it, you jerks. I could see them giving us more or less verbatim those exact words, but I just don't think you can make it quite as convincing a case for a card like the Wandering Emperor to stick around. This is where that balance thing I was talking about comes in, right? I think that Mono White will instantly shoot to the top of the format in terms of playable decks. And that's already a deck people have been playing against since as long as this card's been out. And interesting wrinkle here, if you take this card away, this I hope is a decent case for banning this card. If you take this card away, you are kneecapping the mono white decks, but you're not banning them out of existence. There's still a bunch of really good mono white cards, and even though the deck leans on Emperor a little bit, the entire deck isn't built around her. If you take her away, it'll affect the deck's play patterns in interesting ways. First of all, you won't have to worry about 4 untapped mana, 2 of which is white, for the first time in a year and a half. And that's going to feel good. But also, for the white players out there, for the mono white players and such, you won't have to always pass turn after you play your land on 4. That's going to feel good. Just imagine, not daring your opponent to walk into it, and then you have it, and then they roll your eyes. And it's the same thing on turn 4 every single time, So Imagine actually being able to play more Sarah Paragons in your deck, or being able to experiment with Archangel Elspeth. And again, it doesn't completely obliterate the deck. It just turns it from a kind of, oh, from turn 4 on, I'm going to play at instant speed sort of control-y thing, into a more like mid-range oriented token-y, like value pile. And I like that. I think that that's a fun transition in terms of, again, you're making the deck slightly different in terms of its play patterns, but like in a good kind of fun way, and you fill the board with value. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And in terms of balancing, there's other decks that play this besides just mono white. Increasingly fewer, as a lot more players are speccing into Thalia. And as a quick aside, I will say if this was a video about bans that I personally thought were necessary in Standard, Thalia would be at this spot. It would be number 3 on the list. And I know not everybody feels that way. There's other YouTubers out there talking about how they think Thalia should be banned, and they're receiving kind of a lot of actual backlash, like the real meaning of that term this time. But I honestly don't see why all the pushback. I mean, why are you booing us? We're right. It's just kind of an objective thing to say that if you ban out like Fable of the Mirror Breaker and Reckoner Bankbuster, some combination of them, then that just makes like Soldiers, which has 4 Thalia, and Esper Legends, which has 4 Thalia, the de facto best decks in the format. And you can kind of keep that from happening by removing one card. It's the one I keep mentioning both decks play a 4 of. It's not rocket science. And honestly, if you want a case from your perspective, Esper Legends player or Blue-White Soldiers player, if you get rid of Thalia, you play spells now. Wouldn't it feel nice to play spells in your deck again? That would be... You'll wake up like Scrooge on Christmas morning. What day is it, boy? Oh, today's the day we get to play spells in our aggro decks, sir. Oh, it's a wonderful day. Get the fattest goose from the market. I would feel pretty good about it. But anyway, if I was a Thalia player, one way or the other. I think that there's a strong case for banning Thalia, but do I, again, in reality, think they're going to do it? No, I don't. I hope they do. They probably won't. Again, I feel like, in terms of both balance and this is the second cornerstone of this argument, in terms of both balance and just like stale play patterns, honestly, what are perceived as stale play patterns on the arena, I think that this is the most likely card to get banned other than the 2 I've already talked about. And that's because people are so sick and tired of it. Not much of a pillar to put my hat on in terms of arguments, but it is a reason to ban cards. I stand by that people being sick of a card, especially if you're about to send rotation to 3 years rather than 2, people being sick of a card is a great reason to ban cards. A lot of people have talked about this could be used as like a mini rotation. And part of me, back to the very beginning of the video where I said there are branching paths here, part of me really wants to believe that's what they use this to do. Honestly, it would be really funny to me if the ban announcement was literally the same 8 cards that the fake guy on Reddit banned, and it was just like the reasonings were worded slightly differently. Wizards is just like, no, that's not the ban announcement. We didn't write that word in that spot. Right. But that would be hilarious. And also kind of relieving to me if they really did go that far and ban all those cards. I would love for that to happen, but sadly, here's another thing. Before I go into the sadly bit, here's another thing. They have said that they don't really want to ban cards more than once a year in a certain window, right before the previews start for the fall set. There's going to be like ban day every single year. And they will emergency ban cards when sets come out within 3 weeks. They will emergency ban cards they feel they need to do that with, but they don't feel like they're going to exercise that option very much. Basically, there's really only going to be like 1 day a year where they ban cards from now on. And with that knowledge, I think that it's more likely, again, that they ban a bunch of cards, a whole bunch of cards. But again, I think maybe they'll do, the actual big ban announcement. The ban day is still going to come around this year in the fall. That said, maybe they take that opportunity to ban more stuff in Standard that we've had forever, but I highly doubt that. Nope, think they're going to take this opportunity to ban all the cards they're going to ban. Tomorrow is for all them marbles. So are they going to ban 8 cards? Are they going to ban 3 cards? At the end of the day, I obviously have no idea. I am not prescient. I'm not a guy on Reddit pretending to know what the ban announcement is. I'm not any of those things. I'm not some sort of soothsayer. So, but I will say that if I had to put money on, any 3 cards getting banned, pick 3, slot them out, whatever, these would be the 3. I'm fairly confident in this, although I'm less confident in the Emperor. But the Emperor, if they do take the route of banning like 8 cards, the Emperor is almost certainly going to be one of them. But I know Wizards of the Coast, and I think they'd be much more likely to ban, 3 to 5 cards max. But I really, really, really hope that I am wrong on this one. I would like to just see them go bananas here. just ban all this, ban 15 cards. I don't care. I would love a brand new fresh standard to like try and experiment and stuff in. And I just don't think you really get that effect unless you ban like 8 to 10 cards. So again, cheers. Here's hoping they do that. But Wizards of the Coast is surprisingly conservative when it comes to banning a whole bunch of cards at one time. So we'll have to wait and see about it, y'all. I am excited. But believe it or not, I'm kind of donezo over this one. That's all I've got to say on the subject until we get some actual, for real, final words from official Wizards of the Coast Hasbro headquarters. But that said, I guess I'll turn it over to you. It's your go. Just untap, draw your card. Let me know how you feel about everything. Not what you hope. Not what you wish on a shooting star gets banned tomorrow morning. What do you actually think down here in reality is for sure going to get banned? Aside from that, just do all the YouTube stuff on your way out. Like the video if you haven't done it yet. Maybe subscribe to the channel. Amazingly, we have like 500 new subscribers in the last 28 days. Thanks. I know no one subscribes to anyone on YouTube anymore. I don't know how we pulled that off. But if you want to help contribute, we're trying to get to 200,000 subs now. All we need is like 73,000 more subs. It's not bad. Every little bit counts. Help fight the good fight. You'll get us there, right? I would really appreciate your subbage. Aside from that, you can watch me play Magic on Twitch. We will be playing in this new format as soon as we get a chance to do that. And you can check me out on Patreon. Really supports the channel, helps pay my rent and keep me doing this for a living. I really appreciate your support there. But what card have we pulled out of this large pile of cards? I felt around enough. What did we get? It is a Cabaret Courtyard. Dude, we pulled one of these new Capenna lands in like the last video. What are the chances? This is the Naya one. What did we pull? The Esper one last time or something? Let's go again. I don't want to pull 2 new Capenna fetch lands. What? That's so weird. Oh, there's a big stack of cards back here. What's all in here? Baby? What's that? Oh, that's neat. That's a cool pull. It's a foil Shana Cissei's Legacy, and it will not focus. Just refuses to. There we go, a little bit. Yeah, Shauna's a cool little commander, but very often you'll find her in like the 99 of tokens decks if she's worth the slot at all. But this is just a 2-drop, costs Selesnya colors. It's a 0/0 legendary human warrior, and it can't be the target of abilities your opponents control. Spells are fine, abilities are not. Shauna gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. So again, Selesnya tokens decks, not too bad. And it's a fun little commander and stuff too, but Shauna does not get the respect she deserves. She is a cool card. She always has been. I like Shauna, but that's all I got. For this one, I'm actually done this time. This isn't the 5-minute block where I tell you I'm done. I'm actually done. I love you guys. I'll catch you cats later. I'm Deb from The Place. Thanks for watching, Wizards. Spread love and be kind.